This entire week has had some very, very heavy stuff happening. I think that all of us have had very tough weeks that have come and gone. And this week has had just my brain and my heart and everything just fully immersed in just trying to sort out all this new information that keeps coming in. And life doesn't seem to really care too much about what your plans are or what you've got going on. I think that no matter what it is that we have in our life, we've got goals or we have an idea of what it is we're supposed to have for ourselves, what we're supposed to be doing for ourselves. But then something happens. Something happens that just completely derails us, and we lose track of what it is that we were meant to do, or we lose focus of who we are, and we start making justifications about why it is that I did something that wasn't the way that I know should have been done the way that it is, why I'm not doing the right things for myself, why I'm always doing for somebody else and I'm not focusing on me anymore, and why I've put that off for so many years. And then all of this stuff that we talked about before, all the self-doubt starts creeping out on us. We just start feeling terrible about ourselves, beating ourselves up, just so much like pain starts to build up inside of us. And nobody's immune to this. Everybody I know has had something where inside of them they're like, how is this what's happening right now? And all of the ideas is of everything is a choice. While it may be correct, it's still trying to figure out the emotional aspect of how to handle it right in that moment, which takes just so much practice. The ideas and the memes of take control and be your best self and I'm stronger and all this rainbow stuff is beautiful, but once you're in the arena, the fight is very different than what the rainbows and unicorns on the meme say. It's darker and it's meaner. It's mean. The world can be so mean. And so how do we face this stuff? The thing is that's been plaguing me this whole week is one word. One word's been just digging into me, and it's fear. Now, fear is different from danger. I think people associate that as two different things. We're in a life right now that's not full of danger the way that it used to be. We're not being invaded by barbarians. We're not being attacked by the plague or anything crazy right now. No, we don't have wolverines and hyenas and stuff chasing us to our car. Like we're not in danger, but we're afraid. We're more afraid now than we've ever been. We're afraid of everything. We're afraid of winning, we're afraid of losing, we're afraid of failure, we're afraid of embarrassment, we're afraid of making a fool of ourselves in public speaking, we're afraid of so many things that we just make up fear of success, fear of rejection, and there's so many things that we create our own fear, and then we create our identity from it. And then we start to blame. If this didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be this way. If that never happened, I wouldn't do that. If this person didn't do that thing to me, I wouldn't feel like this anymore. And something's been on my mind this week, and it's so heavy. What if everything's our fault? What if everything's your fault? Would that be empowering to you? Would that be demoralizing? Would that make you feel like shit? Like, if you had to think about it, who do you want to be at fault to make it so that the vehicle that's being driven, would you rather hope that it's somebody else's fault? It's not my fault that that's happened. It's not my fault that things are the way they are. It's not my fault I'm this way. Would you rather wait for that person to wake up and figure it out so that way you can find yourself and be happy again? Or would you rather have the wheel and go, all right, it's my fault. I did that. So that means if I'm going to get this car right, if I'm going to take this the direction it needs to go in, I'm going to be the one in control of it. I'm the one who chooses that. I don't have to wait for anybody to wake up to make my life better. I'm the one who gets to make the changes to make this go the way it needs to go. Would it really be demoralizing to think it's all your fault? If you take accountability for some of these things, it makes it so that you're no longer afraid of the things that were holding you back, because you can't blame anything anymore, because you're the one driving again. You're the one who gets to call the shots. You're the one who gets to make a difference instead of wait for somebody to do it, or wait for them to wake up, or wait for them to have the rock bottom moment that gives them the epiphany that now they need to make a change to make your life better. The information's everywhere. There's never been more information. So why are we so scared? Why are we so depressed? Why are people so upset? You have more power now than you've ever had. Ever. We have more choices now and more awareness now than ever. Then why are we so lost? Why are we blaming? Is it their fault or is it us who's driving the car? Whose fault do you want it to be? And why are we so scared? Fear is a unique monster because it's something that creeps its way in, and it's something that we try not to confront. We avoid it. Oh, that's scary, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to fail. I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to raise my hand and say the wrong thing. I don't want to put myself out there and be embarrassed. I don't want to be judged by other people. I don't want ridicule. I don't want people's opinions about it. And I'm afraid. And what does it do? It creates paralysis. It makes us stunned. It puts us in a state of mind where we feel like we're not in control anymore. By identifying our fear, by sorting out what is the thing that I have to fight, what is that monster inside of me trying to do, by not blaming anybody else and by not saying it's everything else's fault that this is happening, it gives you your power back. Accountability is not a bad thing. It's a good thing because it makes it so you're strong again. You can be confident by saying, yeah, fucked it up. I made a mistake. Is what it is. So what did I learn from that? Time to move forward. I'm driving this thing. I'm the one in control of this. Not, if only they could get it right, then I could move on with my life. If only they could do better, then I can do better. If only others would be what I want them to be, then maybe I could be successful in what I'm meant to do in this world. I think waiting for people to be better is going to be a recipe for disaster when you're the one in control. And wouldn't you rather be in control? Wouldn't you rather be the one who gets to call the shots? What would you do if you had full certainty you wouldn't fail on something? If you weren't afraid, what would you do? What would be different if the thing that's holding you back right now was a guarantee that it wouldn't work? It was gonna not be in the way, and what I want to do is 100% success guaranteed. I'm going to win no matter what it is that I want to do. What would you do with guaranteed victory? What would you do different? Would you start a business? Would you help people in a different way? What would you do? What would you achieve if you knew you couldn't fail? And who the hell's telling you you're a failure? Who are these people? Who are the ones who are telling you you should be held back? You shouldn't do that. Stay in your lane. Do what we told you to do because staying safe is going to be good. People regret all the time not taking risk on the thing that they believed in. Not taking risk to say, I'm going to do the thing I'm meant to do, and never finding purpose in what it is because you're always so consumed by everybody else's noise that we just put ourselves on the back burner and we're afraid to take a look at it because it's embarrassing or painful or it hurts. Man, it sucks. It sucks too when you put everything into things just to realize that this tree is not going to give you the fruit that it was supposed to. Some of us have watered this plant for years and realized that it's not doing what it was meant to do. I wish that this pine tree was going to be an apple tree. I wish I could get fruit from this pine tree. I've been growing it. I have the tallest pine tree that there is. I've been watering it every day, but I haven't gotten fruit yet. It's not a fruit tree. We've been giving everything to this thing, hoping it would give us something different than what it's meant to do. But our awareness is too low on these things. We don't want to face that. We're putting all of our time and energy into something that's not us. But if you grow your fruit tree, you can share your fruit with others and be stronger. But it's not anybody else's fault that you're doing that. It's us. Who else's fault do you want it to be? We get to make the choices that dictate what we do. It's nobody else's responsibility to make it so you can be happy. It just isn't. Your happiness is your responsibility. You're the one who has to be able to sort out your shit to make it so that you're able to take your power back. You're the one who's driving. Not the fear of what it is that's holding us back. But what do we do? What do we do with this fear? It's our defense mechanism. It's the dance that we do. It's the words that we say to people to make it so they stop asking questions. Oh, got to go to work. Got to put food on the table. Got to feed the family. Everyone's got to feed the family. What's really stopping you? It's all the words that we use to try and dance around the real thing that holds us back. What happens if it becomes your identity, if your fear is who you are? You end up becoming that person who just stays in their lane and never achieves anything that you were meant to do. You never find your purpose. Isn't that scarier? To live a life at the end that you regret, isn't that scarier? You hear us say those things. You hear people say those things, that regret is a terrible thing, but we can't connect to it because we're too busy. I promise you, if we audit all of our days, we're not too busy. We just prioritize things that we believe are important, but at the end of the day, nobody even remembers. Our gratitude for things are so low. I want to make a reference to something a little obscure. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the movie Fight Club. When you watch this movie at first, you think it's Brad Pitt and Edward Norton fighting each other, and that's a fighting movie. It's some sort of a fighting movie, but it was something way deeper. It was way deeper. Most of us have a fear of confrontation. We have fear that runs our lives. And what they did in that movie is, by fighting each other, it gets rid of that fear of losing. It gets rid of that fear of failing. It gets rid of that fear of getting hurt. It gets rid of the fear of confrontation. And what happens to somebody when they're no longer afraid all the time? What could you do if you aren't afraid? Now, in the movie, they did a crazy Project Mayhem thing, started blowing up credit card company buildings. That's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is, what could you do if you weren't afraid of somebody confronting you, if you weren't afraid of your own shadow, if you weren't afraid of your past, if you weren't afraid of failing, if you weren't afraid of somebody saying no to you, if you weren't afraid, if you realized it doesn't matter. In a long enough timeline, in a long enough span of time, nobody remembers shit. Everybody's got their own stuff, so why are we so concerned about what everybody thinks when it doesn't matter to them even? And it stops you from doing what you're supposed to do, because somebody else's opinion, who's going to have a fleeting emotion that's going to go away in moments, may have had a thought that could stop you from being who you're supposed to be. Fear's a son of a bitch. Not danger, not an alligator attacking you. Fear of somebody putting up a post that's a judgment that says, I don't like what you're doing. You're not even a part of my life. I don't give a shit. The confidence that you have to be able to confront the thing that scares you. Well, that's one of the choices that you have. Why do we emotionally give so much value to negativity? And why is positivity so easy to shove off? Why is that not balanced? We gravitate towards the things that hurt us. It's so crazy. It's crazy if we think about this. We could have 100 people tell you how incredible you are, how beautiful you are, how smart you are, how inspired by you I am. And have one person go, I don't like your outfit. I would never wear that. And all of a sudden, that's the thing you think about all day. How weird is something like that? I don't like what you said. You're not for me. You're too crass. Somebody will just say some stupid shit. And that becomes our whole thought for the day. Now, 100 people just said how amazing you are. But that didn't stick. For some reason, that one stupid comment sticks with you all day. Why do we do that? What is that thing? Why are we gravitating toward the thing that causes us pain? I believe that awareness is the trick. I believe that awareness gives you the opportunity to go, I can't let this bother me, and then being able to choose to push that off. That weight doesn't have to define you. That bad couple minutes or that weird comment doesn't have to change who you are or what you do. Now, we've all been guilty of it. We'll take information in that screws with us. It messes with us. What if it's your fault that that's that way? You got to choose to let that go or let that be who you are. You choose to go to a thing that makes it so you can feel good again, but it just makes you feel worse. We go to addictions or emotional eating or something that makes us feel bad. We fall into depressions because we're not fighting for our purpose anymore. We're not moving forward for who we're supposed to be. And it's because we're scared of something. Scared of losing everything that I have. I'm scared of what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? All the things that we say to ourselves, I'm plagued by the same demons you are. None of us are perfect. We're all fighting in the same fight. But I truly believe that there's strength in all of us together. I honestly am so blessed to be able to have people like you in our lives. Because when we put our shields together, it makes us phalanx. It makes us so strong. When we're watching out for each other, we become unstoppable. It's just fear. It's not even a real thing. It's the shit we make up as a possible future that may or may not ever exist. What if they make fun of me? What if they don't like it? What if they say no? That's one of the possible futures. But what if they say yes? What if they love it? What if you get the promotion? What if they can't get enough of it? Well, that's a possibility too. But we make the decision that it's going to be negative before we start to save ourselves, to protect ourselves from whatever that failure is going to feel like. It's not real. Nobody gives a real, honest, true shit about it. They just don't. If it goes well, great. And then everybody moves on. If it goes terribly, okay. And then everybody moves on. Everyone has their own stuff, and so our stuff is not that important to them. I mentioned something that Heather recently reached out to me, and she said, the thing that I said that Jeff Olson mentioned when he talked about the funerals. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. I'll give a real quick and short version of it. He said they did a study of thousands of funerals, and they went to all of the funerals and did inventory on how many people at the funerals are going to cry that that person is gone, will shed a tear from all of the decisions and all of the things that this person has done in their life. At the culmination of their death and the celebration of their life, how many people would even shed a tear? Now, some would have 10, some would have none. Some would have 10 or 8 and 2 and 6, all different numbers. Some would have 1, some would have many. It's all different, right? And they average all of it together. And what does the average end up being? 2 people. The culmination of every decision that you made to make sure somebody else's feelings were okay, that you didn't make somebody feel bad, that you didn't challenge anybody because you were worried about what they would feel about it if you ever challenged them. And it all leads up to this one moment where the end of all of the decisions that you made to not go for your dreams, to not step on anybody's toes, to worry about everybody else's feelings, comes to the point where some of them feel obligated to show up, and only 2 people may even shed a tear. If only 2 people out of everyone that you know were going to shed a tear at the end of your life, should you really be so worried about the opinions of people who wouldn't even cry for you? It's empowering to know that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. They've got their own demons and own fears that they're fighting. Yours are not that important to them. Even immediate people who are going through really tough things, we can empathize, but we don't stress because it's not our actual stuff. If you think about that, it should empower you to know that nobody's going to be judging or caring anymore, because your confidence in knowing that it doesn't matter what they think should give you strength. I'm going to go for whatever it is I believe in, because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Yeah, it's scary, I guess. It's scary because we can't identify what's scary about it. And if you do, you start sizing up what it is that you're afraid of. I'm afraid of people laughing at me. Well, laugh with them. Then everyone's having a good time. Don't cower. Don't be scared. Don't be embarrassed. Just, I guess that is kind of funny. And now it's not a bad thing. Now you are the best you that's ever existed. You're the only you that's ever existed, but we still compare ourselves to other people. You're the only you that's ever existed, ever. And we feel not good enough. You're the only you that's ever existed and ever will. Own the shit out of it. You're here to do something. What are you so afraid of? What would you be like without fear? What would it be like if, when you were hitting the wall, you just jumped that bitch, you didn't get stuck? We're all going to hit the wall. We all have those moments where something stops us, where we get blindsided by life that says, you're not good enough. What are you doing? You're changing everything. You should be scared. What happens if we stop doing that? What happens if you say, I believe in myself too much to stop now? What happens? I'm going to send you a whole bunch of stuff this week. I sent a bunch of emails out and I sent a lot of things because I want you guys to think about this. You can send it to me or you don't have to send it to me, but I noticed that the people who directly interact with me go so much faster than the people who just try to sort it all out on their own. Everything's a choice. I don't pressure any of you. And I appreciate you all for spending the time with me today. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut this short, so I hope that this 20 minutes was impactful. I hope that it gave you enough to think about, because this is a lot. This is a lot. And it takes everything for me right now because I'm fighting this head cold and it's so intense right now. And today's been so stressful. There's so much stuff compounding in to try to sort out for myself, because it's not fear that's holding me back. Sometimes you just have to pray for knowledge. Like, what do I have to do here? How can I handle this the right way? Because it gets overwhelming when you spread yourself too thin. I think all of us can relate to spreading ourselves too thin. We try to be everything for everybody. We try to be there for everyone and try and be the best that we can to help others. And at the end, sometimes it feels like nobody even notices. Everyone's taking, but never even acknowledging. It can be tough. It can be tough. And finding belief in yourself and certainty in yourself is something that nobody talks about. Talk about the weather or what do you want for dinner. Nobody talks about, do you believe in yourself? Think about that one. Think about what holds you back and what your fears are. You're as strong as you believe you are. And if you believe you can or you believe you can't, either way you're right. It's Henry Ford. So, I can't breathe super well. I'm going to turn the mic off and I'm going to go ahead and talk to you guys. And for any of you who are watching this video because you missed today, this part that you're about to miss is the conversations that make a real difference. So stop missing your Tuesdays. And I hope you guys have a great day.